Every guitar player seems to be on the quest to find the perfect amp. So when I began talks with the guys at Laney, we were talking about what would be the perfect amp for what I need. And I need something that's versatile, something that's well-rounded, something that can be used on lots of different styles. I'm doing sessions that are country sessions one day, a rock session the next day could be a funky pop thing. And I need an amp in the studio and live that can cover those grounds and still stand up to having a rack of different amps. The amp has just the right amount of squish, so when you hit a note, it compresses in a really warm and tasteful musical way that a lot of other amps don't. It just seems to really respond well to my playing, and it's kind of one of those amps that inspires me to play differently. Another feature that is amazing about this amp is that it's a kind of a master driven amp. So you don't really rely on the preamp as much with this amp. What you do is you crank the output, the master, and you get those power tubes really working, and then you can drive in your preamp and your volumes on your distortion or your clean channel. But this way you're maximizing the tubes in the head, and you're really using those output tubes to compress and give you that power. And these things are screaming loud. This is one of the loudest amps I've ever played, and it's just loud and fat. It doesn't get thinner when you turn it up. It seems to tighten up the bottom end, and it just pushes some serious air. When I use this amp live, I crank the shit out of it. It sounds better, louder. In the studio, you don't have to do that. You can run it at a low volume, and you can use the DI out and record direct to Pro Tools, mic it up, have both options available. The effects loop in this amp is super clean. And the one thing about it, because the amp has a DI that's outstanding and a speaker simulation that's outstanding, you can run the effects loop pre-DI. So that means that if you're sending something out to recording or to front of house, those effects will go through that DI, and you don't even need a mic. One of the most amazing things about this amp is that it's extremely versatile. You can go from bluesy, clean to screaming metal in seconds. The other thing with this amp is that it reacts amazing to pedals. So if you stick a tube screamer on the front end, it sounds amazing. If you take a Henrietta chug blaster and you fuzz it up, it reacts really well, and it keeps the tone. It's not like one of those amps that gets harsh or brittle when you add pedals. In fact, it pushes the front end of the amp to sound a lot warmer and fatter.